If you're one of the 3 people who watch my videos, you've probably seen where I've been talking about every so often filmmaking, screenplay writing. Very rarely mentioned it, but it's something I think I have mentioned, where the reason I actually use Linux, or the reason I got into Linux, was to be able to write screenplays my way. Not Microsoft's way, not Mac's way, not certain pieces of software's way, and certainly not like a hipster. But I will go into all this, of course, and I will explain the way I now do it, which I think is the best way, and maybe the way you wouldn't assume to write screenplays. But actually writing screenplays is not complicated. By definition, it is just text and formatted text. Okay? So we're going to break this down. We'll see the way hipsters do it and the way I do it. And is my way better or is it not? Will it get you into the industry? Won't it? Who knows? Or if I do it, why am I not in the industry and these people are? Who knows? We'll get into all this. If that makes no sense whatsoever, you're not even sure what screenwriting software is, we will cover all the different screenwriting software that matters, well maybe, but it's just really a journey to get to the essence of what screenwriting is and the way you should be doing it if you are, of course, in screenwriting. Now obviously this is a Linux channel, so this is going to be Linux related screenwriting. Okay, we'll get into this. Let's just have a look. So we'll start off with a little story. Being that it's about stories, screenwriting, we'll go on a little journey how I got where I am now to where I am now, and we'll explain what it is. Wow, these intros are amazing. They make no sense whatsoever, so let's just get into it, because you probably have no idea what I'm talking about. So we'll look at the screen. So here we go. Let's just start off at the beginning. So maybe 10, 14 plus years ago, I decided I was going to get into filmmaking. Film is important to me creatively. I like cinema, and I thought, what better way to get into cinema than write your own screenplays? If you write your own screenplays, you don't need... You can film your own screenplays, you can do all that, It's like being a writer, right? You write your own novels, then you publish them, nobody reads them, and you're back to square one. It's the same for screenwriters, except it's not quite as simple as that, right? So let's look at the first bit of software. So we've got here Celtx, right? So what is screenwriting software? Well, actually, we're going to get into this kind of early. It's kind of a nothing, okay? Like if you were writing a novel, you're writing prose, you write prose how you want. And on a screen, text on a screen is just that, text. How you format it is up to you. If this is about macros and how it's formatted through macros, then obviously that is something that maybe screenwriting software is useful for. It's formatting your text, ultimately. That's the theory. So let's look at Celtx then. This was, at the time, maybe 10 plus years ago, kind of a big deal. If you look here, it's on a Mozilla public license, so open source, all this kind of stuff. It was fine. It was fine. Interestingly, it is now cloud-based. Okay, so here's a thing with Celtx. When I used it, it was free to use. Now it's perhaps free to use, but it's got like subscriptions and like I've said a minute ago, all this is doing is formatting text. Now Celtx, or Celtx, however you want to call it, stupid name, does various things. It's now like a production studio. You can do storyboarding. Wow. No, I just want to write a screenplay. Leave storyboarding separate. I will take care of storyboarding at a later date. But this is the way things have gone, sadly. Celtx I used for maybe, I don't know, 5 years. And a fun fact, I never made a single screenplay with Celtx. I hated it. It's just absolute clutter. Look at this now. I don't even know what I'm looking at. This is the way, their thing works now. You couldn't get rid of all this stuff, all these distractions. Anyway, let's come out of that. It's just annoying me just looking at that. You can have a look at Celtx. Maybe if you're a screenwriter and you don't want to spend any money on software and you want to try out Celtx, you try it, but it's going to get better from here. I've done the hard work for you. I've seen how horrible it is. And here we go. You got some nice little looking storyboards here. Again, this is about screenwriting software. Celtx have overreached themselves. Maybe people use it. I've never heard of a film written in Celtx that's, you know, gone somewhere, but again, we'll get into all of the reasons why films get made. We'll get into all that. Hope this isn't going to be too long. Hopefully you're still watching, even if you don't care about filmmaking and screenplays. So we're gonna get webs. I used it for a time, wrote nothing with it, but it was a good testing ground for writing screenplays. So it formatted your text. Okay, we'll look at what formatting is. Don't worry about this. I'm just getting the hard stuff out of the way, the horrible stuff. So there's one horrible piece of software out of the way. Sorry, cloud-based piece of software. It's just, I don't want to be, I don't want to be too harsh on them, but I hated it. It's just how I feel about it. I'm sorry, never liked it. So here's the big, grand. This is the hipster software. Okay. Now, interestingly, this is only on Windows and Mac. Warning signs already. Yeah. So there was a time I was using Windows, of course, and this, for somebody getting in the industry, is the gold standard. This is how Final Draft and the industry effectively sell their profession, their craft. It's done in Final Draft. It's I can't remember what the file format is, but they have their own file format. But they do some interesting stuff lately, which I might go into. Actually, it's not really interesting. Look, if you're a hipster and you've got your Mac, you're probably using Final Draft or another piece of software, which I'm not going to get into. I'll give you a list of pieces of software, screenwriting software you can get into. So here's Final Draft. Okay, so here you are in your, oh, what is that? I can't even, horrible image there on Wikipedia, but whatever. So here's your Final Draft software. You've paid hundreds of dollars. You're in your cafe in LA, and you're sat there at your overpriced Mac OS laptop or whatever it is, and you've got Final Draft. Are you going to make it in the industry? Well, we're going to get into that at the end, but I'm just saying it depends. It depends. Is this essential for screenwriting as a good way? No, this isn't. And secondly, is it necessary? No, it's not necessary. Again, look at, you can't really see it, but this is formatted text, okay? All Final Draft is doing is formatting your text. So you have action, you have headers, you have parentheses, action, you have, really, I mean, screenwriting is a lot simpler than they like to make out. And of course, Final Draft do the whole thing of, hey, here's storyboarding, here's an online directory for filmmakers to find your work. They don't care about your work. Anyway, that's what Final Draft is. It is just yet another overcomplicated Celtx, or is Celtx the overcomplicated Final Draft? It's basically the same thing, but one you have to pay hundreds of dollars for, and is the industry standard. And of course it's proprietary. And an interesting thing about proprietary, if you ever go on X as it's called now, or Twitter as it should have been called, all I ever saw on these screenwriting threads was Final Draft has updated and broken. How do I fix this? Final Draft is not working. What do I do? Why isn't Final Draft working? So isn't it ironic you pay all your money to use Final Draft and the thing breaks after an update? That is effectively screenwriting on Twitter, or X as it's now called. The thing is clearly junk. And 113 megabytes to write text. There you go, that's what it says on Wikipedia, so it must be true. So if you're a hipster with more money than sense and you're sat in your cafe with your MacBook, this is probably perfect for you. Whether it will get you where you need to be, I'm not so sure. But we're going to move on from this. So that's where I could have led myself to. I was kind of close. I was thinking, they're telling me this is what I have to use, or use some equivalent whatever, and then I realised, well, you can only use it on a Mac, and I'm not even going to get into that because I never used that. I never used this, of course. So the next one is Trelby. Okay, now Trelby is, as you can see, free and open source screenwriting software, and actually it is beautiful, magnificent. What's interesting, it's now only a, well, interesting, it has been updated recently officially, I think on GitHub. Maybe it's a fork, I'm not sure, but it's written in Python, and some years ago, interestingly, Python became Python 3, and this was written in Python 2. Can you guess what happened? This wasn't maintained anymore, it broke, we got Python 3, Python 2 is no longer supported, and there we go. So you had to do some workaround to get Python 2 working as your main, like, whatever. I can't even remember now. This was when I didn't know enough. I just knew this is what I had to do. I had to have my precious screenwriting software. So why did I use Trelby? Well, it was more than just being free and open source, of course. The beautiful thing about Trelby, let's just bring up a picture on it, is this won't necessarily give you the best impression here, but if we look at this, see all this stuff on the side here, that would stay there, but you could effectively make it full screen. I can't see the full screen button there, but you could make it full screen. Just you and your writing. Beautiful, because ultimately all you're doing with a screenplay is writing text. Yes, I know. Who knew it was so simple? Final Draft will tell you it is unbelievably complicated. You've got to have this width of paper, you've got to have this. Absolute nonsense. It is just a ploy to get you to use Final Draft. I'm sorry, Final Draft. I don't think you need to worry about my video, but it's pretty outrageous. So Trelby is, and you can get it on GitHub now and build it from there. So there we go. Go on there's the official website, but go on there you go, Trelby, GitHub. As of 2024, currently available on GitHub. Open source. You can use it on Windows. I have used it on Windows. I will just say one thing particularly about Windows, which makes me laugh. Maybe it's probably better on macOS, and maybe it's better on Windows 11 now, but text rendering is just horrific. It is disgusting, okay? If you have ever used Trelby on Windows in the past, and if you've ever used Windows in the past, even Windows 10, some of the text rendering is just disgusting. How has it taken them this long to render text half decent? It's just a bafflement to me, okay? They couldn't even get that basic thing right. Remember, you had to use that application that said, type in this, how does your text look now? Does it look nice? Even after that, it just looked disgusting. Absolutely horrific. I don't know what is going on, why it happened. Now, however many years later, 2 or 3 years ago, you can now use Windows 11 and get nice text rendering. Anyway, just use it on Linux. It will look beautiful. So there you go, open source, wonderful, still being supported. It's written in Python, so it's a bit slower, but it doesn't matter. It's great. I've written plenty of screenplays on this. Very happy with it. Gives you nice little reports. Gives you. Oh yes, you can customize it, so you can make the screen black. The background black and the text white and the cursor red. It's fantastic. Really good piece of software. Now, why haven't I gone back to Trelby? Well, what you realise is after a time, it is what I've just said. It is just putting text in a document, in a text editor. That's all it is. You can probably see where we're going with this if you have any Linux understanding, where we are going to end up with this and why you don't even need Trelby. But this is the best actual software for screenwriting. That's it. Go on the GitHub, compile it or whatever it needs to do. It now runs Python 3, I believe, whatever. I'm not going to bother doing that because we're just going to move on because this has gone on far too long. So where are we in this situation? Where am I in my screenwriting journey, so to speak? It sounds so stupid, but anyway. So now, interestingly, Trelby and others do use this markup language. So if you know anything about markup language, it's just effectively you formatting your text and then a piece of software or something reading your your text that's been formatted a certain way and marking it up. I don't even know if that's correct. What does well, you've got Markdown, right? Markdown, it's a language. It's like HTML, yeah? So HTML is read the way you format it, and it formats it, if that makes sense. You look up markup language. You know how this channel works. I'm not going to go in depth. You surely don't want this video any longer. Whatever. That's what I'm going to call it. So, Fountain, it's a markup language. We will do a brief little bit on this in a minute. So it's a very simple markup language to give you everything you need. This is the Wikipedia page. Why am I looking at the Wikipedia page? I don't know. It just seems right. And here you go. Here is a list of screenwriting software. Go on Wikipedia. You can see a general list. I don't know how up to date it is, but I don't really care. So that's gone. So here's the Fountain website on syntax, on how to put it in your applications and all this kind of stuff. It's used in Trelby. Fantastic. Trelby uses Fountain syntax and it will mark it up. It will even save it as a final draft formatted, no, not final draft, final draft extension file. A file with final draft extension, sorry. So it can be opened in final draft. How wonderful is that? But Fountain apps is really, it's not really an app, right? But you can get all these different ones. Again, they all use Fountain as their markup language. I think, again, even, you know, Final Draft or whatever. If you are a masochist or a hipster, please use this in Final Draft. And so let's have a little look then. So here's the syntax, okay? You probably can't see this, but it's got a whole thing, all these different things. Screenwriting never has to be this complicated, but you do you. This, it's covering everything, okay? It's covering everything, okay? So what do we go, where do we go from here? So we've got a piece of software called Afterwriting. So this is the piece of software in theory, I have not used this officially. I did actually use Trelby to take my Fountain markup files, and I will do some Fountain markup files in a minute, and feed it into Trelby, which would read the file and format it for me. So let's not go too far. Let's just do this. So how do I write my Fountain files? Vim, of course. So we're just going to go into Vim. You can use NeoVim. We're all friends here. I'm not going to judge you, and don't judge me. Whatever. It's all the same thing. Okay. So you can. It shows you how to do a title page. You know, you can do title. I don't know, whatever. But I'm just going to give you, you know, the simple stuff. So you've got int. I don't know, scene, home, and then you've got day. Okay. That's your first bit of Fountain syntax. Okay, that's your heading, right? You can have exterior, car, night. So there you go, exterior. That will all understand that. It will understand those headings. Perfect. And then let's do some action. The strange man who was a hipster in a cafe writing his final draft screenplay. ... There you go, some action. And you've got characters. I think characters you just do. I haven't actually been screenwriting very lately, so I know it sounds crazy, but you know, I'm under pressure here. I'm doing a video. So, John. Hi, guys. Look at me writing on Final Draft. Hey, where are you? Ooh, hey, where are you all going? There we go. Seems like a good film. Seems like a good film. And then, you know, you can change scene or have a new character called Bill. I hate Final Draft. You know, and then you can, like, you got parentheses. So this is like little mini actions to the character, like smiling. Oh, another Final Draft user. Okay, fantastic. And then you can just put end at the end. There you go. There's your screenplay. that's really all screenplays are. So, you know, obviously Vim actually has some, I'm not going to go into this, Vim has some plugins that does syntax highlighting, whatever, but here's the thing, all you need, full screen, writing text, that's all screenwriting is. So should I go, how long is this video going to go on for? Probably too long, as you know. This is what I use, or will use properly. So as you can see, it says Afterwriting turns .fountain screenplay. So that is the extension to have your markup language file .fountain into a beautiful PDFs, free, open source, offline first, no registration, no ads, no fuss. So a good thing about this is there's an offline version, so you just download the zip and then just load it into your web browser offline. Fantastic, great, so you can use it anywhere. Now it does have some stuff here. I'm going here, so you can go back, so you can create a new file, load a file. You can even use your Google Drive, Dropbox if you want. So yeah, we go, we're going to load a file, whatever. I'm not going to bother loading a file because this is going to go on too long. Let's create new. So here you go, it brings up some more options. So you can do setup, so you can set up all your stuff. It's pretty much set up, I imagine, already for you. It's got Prime. Oh yeah, here's the other thing. You've got to use Courier Prime. It's got to be a certain width, whatever, hipsters. Anyway, you can write online, so you can write your thing here. So you can do int home. You see how the syntax changed? So John, hi guys, and then whatever. So we'll do end, and then if you look here, you can save it. Whatever. There you go. So you can do it online. I wouldn't do it like this. Whatever. If you look though, there are no options, right? There's no little buttons everywhere. Oh, turn this into a storyboard. It's just a writer, okay? It's just a writer. Just put in the fountain syntax. Magnificent. I don't know if it gives you any hints. Oh, I think it's got some autocomplete stuff. Again, I'm not going to get into this. You get into this. Do it. Well, I would do it by Vim. If you don't or can't use Vim, use Trelby. Compile it or whatever. Follow the GitHub. I'll put the link in the thing. Here you go. You can view a preview. There you go. See, look, formatted my text. Look, John is in the middle. Perfect. That's the character. He's speaking. The text in the middle. End. There's the heading. Magnificent. How easy was that? And that is screenwriting, guys. That is screenwriting. It's all it is. You've got some nice stats here. So I don't know if this is working. Well, I think I tried it in the past and it's working, but I've got not enough data here. Do you want to watch me write a screenplay? Maybe you do. Maybe you do. Facts. Here you go. Some little things. There you go. One location, home. John speaking. Magnificent. You've got all the data you need. So you can load a file. So you can load a .fountain file from your thing if you're writing it in Vim. Well, there we go. What was that? Plus 20 minutes. I don't know. It seemed like a long stuff, but look at all this information I've given you. So where do we end the video? Well, we've got to talk about two things. Is this the best way to do it? I think I've covered that. If you're just writing text, that's all you need to write. If it needs to be formatted, use a markdown. Stop creating these distractions, these buttons, overcomplicating what is just screenwriting, okay? Forget about storyboarding, work out storyboarding after. Sorry guys, but this is just how it is. Final draft is not going to stay with you. It's probably just going to break on you. You're probably going to get frustrated, but you're supposed to be grateful, pay your $100+ and pretend you're going to get somewhere. So if you're told then this is the industry standard, surely you can't get in the industry. Well, with filmmaking and cinema and screenwriting, let's just look at a couple of, well, let's look at one famous person, okay? Quentin Tarantino. He did not use any software to write his screenplays. Now, he does have like a secretary or somebody, assistant who writes his screenplays in a formatted way, or probably on a typewriter or a computer. He writes by crayon, basically. Sorry, Quentin, but I've seen your handwritten screenplays, and it doesn't seem to affect him. So how then did he get in? Well, because he's a talented writer. If you're a good writer, that is the first step. That's a necessary step. Is it sufficient? I'm not sure. Probably not. It's also who you know. If you're a good writer and you know somebody, or somebody knows somebody and they read your screenplay, there you go. That's how Quentin Tarantino got to be a filmmaker, because he wrote Reservoir Dogs, and he had somebody in an acting class who was Harvey Keitel's wife. Look up Harvey Keitel if you don't know him. He's quite a famous actor, and Harvey Keitel heard from his wife, Quentin Tarantino's written this amazing screenplay. I happen to read it, you should read it and get the film up and going, running. That's what happened. The rest is history. Sorry to break your bubble if you are sat on your Mac watching this video in some famous coffee chain. That's how it's done, okay? This should be the least complicated as possible. Stop worrying yourself with all this stuff. That's how you get into it. Anyway, I think that's enough. I don't know if I've covered it all. Whatever. That's how I do it. Yes, I'm not in Hollywood, but if I was, I would still recommend this. Okay? That's it. Do your fake YouTube thing. This is actually, I think this is a good video. Like, comment, subscribe, guys. Yeah. Whatever. That's it. That is it.